Hello, welcome to Cutting to the Ball in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben, as always, I'm Dan and Mike.
Hello.
Claire.
Hey.
And a strange guy who won't leave Mike's sofa, Pete.
I'm still here. It's only been nearly 2 years now.
Just won't leave, even the sofa a one.
I've been slicing flanks off him in the night.
Yeah, he read this article a couple of years back and took ideas.
This week we bring you something incredibly light and fluffy.
Very.
Stalin's Cannibal Island. Mike's picked this one.
And where's all this available?
This is available on YouTube at Apocalypse Ball. It's available on SoundCloud, Spotify and most other podcasting platforms at Cutting to the Bull in the PTA. And on Facebook we are Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. A lot of new subscribers on there actually.
Ooh, how many places have we got this week then?
Right, where we are? Edinburgh in the UK, Västerås in Sweden, I think that's how you say it. There's little umlauts and a circle above an A. I've no idea how that works.
I need to highlight Hornchurch.
I was just thinking that.
Just because that's a great name. Hornchurch.
Alright, Hornchurch.
It's got to be said. The horn bit has to be said like that.
It does, doesn't it? And you got Picos in Brazil.
Ooh.
Bratislava in Slovenia, Frankfurt am Main in Germany. Welcome back to you. Sharjah in the UAE. How'd you say that? I've no experience with Arabic pronunciation. Elzingen in Luxembourg, Haiti in Missouri, Brussels, Belgium, La Pine in Oregon, Ashburn, Virginia, Guadalajara, Spain, Stevenage, UK, Madrid in Spain, and Dublin, Ireland. Welcome back to you, top of the chart.
Thank you,
On
everybody.
top of the morning.
Oh, we've lost him again.
Yeah.
Right, so as I said, Stalin's Cannibal Island. Well, this is a doozy.
Yeah, this is a fluffy one, isn't it? Obviously, you put Stalin in any headline, you know it's going to be fluffy already.
Yeah, fluffy
Then you
guy.
add the Cannibal Island to it. Oh, it's going to be a fucking plate of joy, this is. Nom nom nom, lots of tasty little snippets.
Before we start, Stalin I'd like to put forward as contender for Best Dictator Moustache.
It's got to be up there, isn't it?
Do you know what? Genuinely can't fucking picture it.
Thick and chunky, isn't it?
It is. It is. His name, Joseph Stalin, literally means man of steel. He named himself that. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his real name. I tried earlier, failed miserably. Yeah, beards, I'll go Castro every time for dictators. And Mike.
Mike's a dictator.
Mike's in charge of Cuba, didn't you know?
I wish I had a dictator's money.
You're in charge of Cuba.
Oh yeah, that was quite a well groomed tash, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Good and chunky.
Man of Steel. There's no links between
Him and Superman.
Superman was copying his name.
Yeah.
Without realising.
Yes. So,
I would hope.
I hope so too. I don't want to star in like Superman.
Hold on, DC. Who's DC?
Superman.
No, but who made DC?
What do you mean who made DC? DC made DC.
No, but you know Stan Lee created Marvel.
Oh,
Bob
it's various.
I was wondering whether he was a Nazi or something.
No, Superman was about pre-Nazi. There is a great cartoon called Superman Red Sun where Superman crashes in the USSR and gets raised as a communist Russian. yeah, it's actually really good. You get a Russian Batman as well.
Hi, I am Batman.
Batmanovich.
He'd sound really angry, wouldn't he?
He does say he's very angry. He ends up somewhere. Russian Batman, ironically, to link that back, wasn't quite in Cannibal Island, but he was certainly in a gulag.
Sure.
In 1933, a small flotilla of lumber barges pulled up to Nazino Island and offloaded about 3,000, quote, settlers with orders to construct a, quote, special settlement as their little corner of Stalin's gulag.
See, I wouldn't have known what gulag was until about 3 years ago when I started playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Ah, yeah.
I didn't know what a gulag was.
educational and entertaining.
Isn't it a prison?
Basically, yeah, really fucking hard. It's like a workhouse. It's like a workhouse prison. Do you know what a workhouse was?
Yeah, we had them back in
the day.
She sounds like she's talking in memory. Oh yeah, we had them back in the day.
Not in my day.
I remember the workhouse.
That was Claire's previous life when she was a Victorian
Victoria,
seamstress.
Yeah.
that's it.
No, they were still
I was
going.
widowed and got put in.
Workhouses
In
were
the
still
workhouse.
going into the 1900s. No, yeah, they were still going
They were,
last century.
Wasn't
Like.
Victoria still going in the 1900s?
1901 she died.
Was it 1901? Fucking hell.
But yeah, so
Anyway,
yeah,
gulags.
it was like a working
Work camp.
prison,
It's
wasn't it?
it's Soviet Russia's version of a concentration camp, effectively.
Yeah.
Except they don't systematically execute you. They just
let you die.
They just let you die through overwork and
Yeah.
underfeeding.
Not a place to be.
No,
Certainly not this gulag.
God no. The network of labour. So gulags are a network of labour camps spread out across the Soviet Union, where millions of people were repressed and killed, and at least
What was it called?
KGB.
What was it called?
the gulag,
No, that was
Lazinski Island,
euphemistically. Euphemistically, I was trying to say that. I was
Yeah.
looking at it. It's like, what the fuck is that
The
word?
KGB had a quota how many people they had to put in these camps.
A bit like the police have when they've got to stop a certain amount of people each week.
Yeah, basically they were just snatching anybody up off the streets if they didn't have their paperwork and stuff like that. Seriously,
Fucking
man, it's
hell.
fucking mental.
Show
So-
me your papers.
So you think it's just like, exactly, where's your papers? Why haven't you got your papers? Off to the gulag you go. It's like, no, they're just rounding people up at bars and shit.
Someone was a bit drunk or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone for anything. 23 of the prisoners were already dead when they got to the island.
This is in the first lot.
So that's literally just 3,000 of them had turned up, 23 of them already dead. Probably for the best for them.
Yeah.
They're probably the lucky
They're
ones.
the lucky ones in this scenario, aren't they?
Yeah,
Maybe,
very
yeah.
So without any tools, shelter or food, and surrounded by armed guards who shot anyone who tried to brave the icy river, the prisoners quickly fell victim to starvation, disease, violence, and the brutal elements. And still, additional barges pulled up at the island. Stalin thinks that this is part of Stalin's plan, though. It's a rapid modernisation of Russia, of the Soviet Union. You're moving from a largely agricultural society to a largely industrial one. And, you know, they did it. Well, millions of people died. We'll never know how many millions of people. And because people were being taken from the farms to work in the
These are his own
factories,
people.
these are his own people. In Ukraine alone, like 10 million people died.
Terrible.
And they're one of the biggest grain producers in the world. It's crazy.
It's why he fucking hooked up so nicely with Hitler, wasn't it?
Well, for a bit.
For a little
They
while.
were friends
but-
for a bit.
They're both autocratic dictators, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Hitler's was lacking in the moustache department.
Yeah, he couldn't get the bush. He thought, fuck it, I'll chop it off there.
I've always had a nice middle bit.
Yeah, that's the best bit that grows. Fuck it.
And in the testicle department.
Allegedly. Well, I suppose we'll never know that, will we?
Well, he only had one ball.
That's the rumour, wasn't
The
it?
other was in the Albert Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true.
And do you know who his number one enemy was?
His mother for cutting it off.
No, the Russian spy,
Who cut it off?
Evgeny Kabalikov.
Dear God. Just felt myself die a little inside.
Sorry. I thought it kind of went with the theme, you know.
So they're sending boats at the month of May, and so there's more people there, and by August at least 4,000 people were dead or missing. Missing, presumed shot, I assume.
Or drowned in the icy river.
Yeah. According to a Soviet document dated August the 20th, 1933, there were only 2,200 survivors out of the 6,700 prisoners who had been sent to Nazinski, a low-lying swampy strip some 3 kilometres long and about 600 metres wide. That's not very big for like 6,700 people to live on either, though, is it?
No.
God, no. Well, to be fair, there was probably never more than about 3,000 on there living at one time, was there?
True. There's 2,200 people left, and 300 of those are deemed at the time fit for further work.
So they got sent to another gulag.
Potentially, or
Probably an already up and running one.
maybe.
That's what that sounds like to me. The rest of them, they probably just... What did they do? Set them free? Doesn't really tell you what happened to the rest of those 2,000...
They either die of starvation a bit later on.
The people that survived, the 2,000 survivors, what happened to them?
Well, I guess they just
Dispersed?
continue doing their time somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Until either they complete their time or they die from exhaustion.
Yeah.
300 of them were deemed at the time fit for further work, so they were more than likely just sent straight back to another gulag then.
Probably. But bear in mind, they might be deemed fit for work, but they're still skin and bone.
Yeah, they can just lift their arms and physically walk.
Yeah, pretty much. To quote Filofa Bailina, a resident of the village of Nazino on the north bank of the Ob River, recorded in oral history in 1989. Once a woman from the island of death was brought to our house. She was being taken to another camp. The woman was taken into the back room to spend the night, and I saw that her calves had been cut off. I asked, and she said, "They did that to me on the island of death. Cut them off and cooked them." All the meat on her calves was cut away. Her legs were freezing because of this, and she had them wrapped up with rags. She's able to move on her own. She looked like an old woman, but in really, she was just a little over 40.
Why could she walk or move?
Just hobble along, shuffle along.
Well, you still got your
You make do, don't you?
bone and that to hold you up, haven't you? And
Just the flesh that's missing.
You're putting more onto your feet, your ankles, your knees.
Oh,
So you're probably walking
Mad,
quite
isn't it?
bent and crooked backed because you're taking any forward momentum off, aren't you?
yeah.
it's hard to imagine that, isn't
Yeah,
it?
really.
Not having any calf muscles and just
Watching some cunt eat them. I mean,
Yeah. Am I getting any of this?
And the thing is, though,
You want to eat a bit yourself? You're
Well,
not starving.
everyone else is in.
at least have.
You know, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I can smell myself cooking. I smell delicious. Because I've been like a month without food. I smell fucking great. Of course I'm gonna want to. You know what? Give me some. Why the hell not?
I'd eat it.
you'd eat your own, but would you eat someone else's?
What you got to
Oh, food's food at that point, isn't it?
It is.
What you got to think as well, poor sausage, she'd have been fucking wide awake, no anaesthetic. They've literally just fucking stabbed her fucking calf muscles off. They've just done and
They've held her down and fucking
that's what I mean. Like
sliced off, haven't
that's
they?
Brutal, innit?
fuck it, the pain she
Because
must
she's-
have been in.
And the women obviously had it worse because they were, they're weaker than 4 or 5 men.
But the pain that must have caused, not just physically, emotionally after as well.
Oh
Fuck
God,
me,
yeah. I
like-
mean, well, you're in a gulag. It's not like you're fucking happy. Let's face it. This has
No.
plunged you right down. But I'd imagine there's not that many ways of killing yourself, apart from to attempt to swim the river, which you probably won't, and you end up drowning because you're too weak to anyway. Try and get the guards to shoot you.
So
I
if you wanted
guess.
to end it though, that would be a sure way of making the guards shoot you.
I'd try and get the guards to shoot me. I
I'd
think.
go and try and punch
But-
one of them.
But she's decided she wants to live.
Well, she's very unlucky that she didn't get infected.
She might
Yeah.
have done.
Well, that's it. That's another
I
thing,
think
isn't it?
she's unlucky because, she'd have been lucky if she'd got infected and died, wouldn't she?
Well, no, 'cause she survived and she was
No, but
lived to a ripe
still
old
going
age.
through all that.
No, I know, yeah. No, it's horrible that.
The secret police head Genrike Yagoda and Matej Behrman, head of the Gulag system, had dreamed up a brutal social engineering project aimed at resettling at least 2 million people in the remote reaches of Siberia and Soviet Kazakhstan.
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, you go into Siberia and Soviet Kazakhstan. The idea was that the settlers, quote settlers, would bring millions of hectares of land into cultivation and develop self-sufficient communities within 2 years.
So
Will
what
they?
this is what they were banking on. The feces, so all the fecal matter from these thousands of people they put in these little places, these desolate kind of areas, and the human bodies that decay and go into the earth and soil.
I don't think
Actually,
human waste
then,
is good.
It's not. It's just as good compost.
No, it's not
and
as good as animal.
It's because of the food and things like that. Because they eat grass and such. That's why that's particularly good. Compost.
You need poo with nitrates in it. I don't know how much poo
And there's a lot of
nitrates in human
nasty
poo.
bacteria in human poo.
But I'm wondering what the. I was just going down a sick, macabre
I know you
thought.
were, yeah.
Like it was just maybe that was their initial intention.
Yeah.
Like let's make the lands fertile. How can we do that? Just use people. What do you mean? Just use people.
The rotting bodies, though.
The rotting
Yes.
bodies, the shit in the poo, and all that kind of thing. You'd have thought bit of fertiliser for the ground. Might get some trees growing there now.
Actually, it is
Sounds
quite.
toxic, nasty.
No, yes, but there's logic within that.
I'm not sure about that. I think they were just.
No, there's historical precedents for it. Not only the Romans, the Greeks, and the French would plant grapes on battlefields. The first year would be shit. Once all them those nutrients have been absorbed into the soil, from all the dead bodies, the second year was always thought to make the best wine.
Oh, right.
You think it's natural fertiliser in lots of different roundabout ways. All the different oils and things like that within our body and everything.
Yeah,
it's all yeah.
There is historical precedence for it. Absolutely. How true it is, but as I say,
I was just using sick logic, thinking maybe that was their sick logical way of thinking. Why else would they be sending all these people to
Well, they wanted
Sib-
labour, didn't they?
the reaches of Siberia? We're talking about
There's all that barren land that could be turned into farmland.
This
and
is
they
Well,
want
and you've got a famine
labour.
going on.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
But why would you be trying to send people to farm the outer reaches of Siberia and things like that, where it's just pure fucking 12 foot of snow kind of thing all the time?
yeah,
Isn't it tundra, a lot of it?
it is.
Like
It's
cold and sort of
it's
a bit
wind
rocky and
wind
horrible.
swept,
yeah.
rocky soil. So you're trying to break that fucking soil with
It's what I
pickaxes.
mean, like, so what were they ever thinking was ever going to really happen there?
Because it's a good old fashioned Soviet Union thinking. Throw enough people at it, and you'll do it.
Yep.
Didn't work in this scenario.
It's not worked recently either, has it?
No, worked in the Second World War though. Throw loads of people at a problem, i.e. the Nazis. It went away.
Yeah, but that was only because of the rest of the world also threw a lot of people at the Nazis.
Yeah,
as
but the
well.
Russians lost more than everyone else combined.
So that tells you. Well, it tells you number one, you're right, but number two, they're not the best trained, or they weren't the best.
No, but when there's
trained.
never mind. Stalin himself said, "Never mind the quality, feel the width." So to generate settlers, quote settlers, the government reinstated the hated system of domestic passports that had been banned after the 1917 Bolshevik coup.
So that's basically show me your papers
Mhm.
that you see when you used to play Call of Duty, the original ones and things like that.
Yeah, you had to knock a guard out, take his uniform
Not
and
Call of
his papers.
Duty,
Medal of Honor.
Medal of Honor. That's the one.
And then you would see the fire button. Instead of shooting someone, your arm just thrust out and held some papers, and then thrust back again. So almost immediately, police throughout the country began rounding up anyone found in a place other than where they were registered.
So if you're at your mate's house,
Yeah. The next time.
Yeah.
fucking hell.
One young man said, "I didn't do anything. I was a student in Moscow. On the weekend, I went to visit my aunt who lives in Moscow. I got to her apartment and knocked at the door. But before she opened the door, they grabbed me right there. I was arrested because I didn't have my passport with me."
Why?
Vera Panovia, a resident of the village of Ust-Timer, gave an oral history in 1989 recalling meeting a man named Kuzma Salnikov who had been on Cannibal Island. He was a miner from Novokuznetsk, married with 2 children. Once he went to Novorossiysk, I think that's it.
It's wonderful, this article.
Novosibirsk or something like that, and stopped at the central market. At that moment, they surrounded the market, set up a dragnet, and arrested everyone who wasn't carrying documents. Everyone, including women and children, were loaded onto the barge and sent to Nazino Island. To carry on the quote, there was no food. People were tortured by hunger. The guards threw them bits of bread as they passed the island. If you got a piece, you ate. The rest had nothing. Salnikov was there, but he managed to escape. He swam the river and made it through the swamps to a village, and after that worked on a collective farm. The police, however, arrived too quickly. The police, however, worked too quickly. When the first 35,000 people arrived in Tomsk in April 1933, their camp had not been built. Prisoners continued to collect, but they could not be transported further because the Ob and Tom rivers were still iced over. As was standard practice in Stalin's gulag, common criminals were mixed in among the political prisoners and anybody else who they've just managed to round up as a means of maintaining an atmosphere of terror. And I suppose if you're some young chap who's been spouting a bit of anti-communist propaganda,
You're going to be
and
shutting up, aren't you?
you've been to
afterwards?
university and you get arrested and sent to this, and you're in there with murderers, criminals, rapists, thugs.
You're going to get eaten alive for one.
It's not going to go well for you, is it?
Yeah, I think it'd probably change your mind on your views as well when on the outside. Maybe you certainly wouldn't be spouting anything again, would you?
I'd be a fucking devout communist after that.
Oh, poor people.
Yeah.
They were fucked, weren't they?
Oh, fucking yeah. Soviet documents preserved in the Gulag Museum in Tomsk record the interrogations of some of the criminals who were at Nazino Island. One was asked if he ate, quote, human meat. No, that is not true. I only ate livers and hearts.
That's human flesh, though. Isn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's justifying that isn't human
It's
meat.
the sweetbreads, aren't they?
Huh?
They're meant to be the nicest bits.
I know, but still eating human meat.
Something in the
He says,
throat
no,
as
that's
well.
not true. I only eat livers and hearts. Come on.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's how he told himself. Like, it's only liver and hearts. Only liver, as he ate it, you know.
Yeah, it's not
liver and
person,
heart.
it's deer. This is deer, liver and heart.
Yeah.
We caught a deer earlier. That's how you're going to justify it to yourself, isn't it?
What, are you spooning it out of a man's fucking chest?
Well,
just
you're
a
not
deer.
doing that.
It's just a deer.
It's just a
It's just
deer.
a very naked deer. Very bald deer. That's saying ouch. Stop it.
No, they're dead. I'd imagine they'd be dead.
I don't know, that woman got her fucking calves cut off. She was still alive.
Oh, yeah.
Probably trying to spoon their hearts out whilst they're still alive. Why with a spoon? Because it's blunt. It'll hurt more.
Well, it gets worse. Asked for details, he said it was very simple. It was just like shashlik. We made skewers from willow branches, cut it into pieces, stuck it on the skewers, and roasted it over the campfire. He carries on, I picked those who were not quite living but yet not quite dead. It was obvious they were about to go, that in a day or two they'd give up, so it was easier for them that way. Now, quickly, without suffering for another 2 or 3 days. Others described women who were tied to trees while men cut off their breasts, calves, and other body parts.
Fucking hell.
Another common criminal whose interrogation survives, bragged of beating prisoners to extract the gold in their dental work. In order to get smokes, he said, when asked why he did it. People need to smoke. From the guards you get a matchbook of tobacco or 2 whole newspapers for rolling cigarettes.
Cool.
Lovely.
Oh, let's just trot back a little bit. So the one bloke, if you're lying there and they know you're on the way out in a couple of days, he's just going to smother you and cut your heart out. And your liver. Great.
Ah.
If you're a woman, you're getting tied to a tree and you're getting basically dissected for meat.
I'd be alright with being smothered.
I'd rather be smothered to death or strangled to death than be tied to a tree and be basically harvested for meat while I'm still alive.
Yeah.
I know, why don't they just fucking kill them? And then harvest their
Because
meat?
the meat, you don't rotting meat, do you? It starts to decompose.
Kill them and you fucking take it off instantly.
Isn't there something...
Mature it.
Just smoke this first. They're starving, aren't they? They just want...
They're
It's
not
a-
going to wait for the 28-day matured.
Fuck me. Yeah. It's 28-day matured. Isn't there something about you don't show the animal the knife because it ruins the meat?
It's the fear, the
Then
adrenaline.
you get the adrenaline flood through the
Yeah.
bloodstream and it ruins the meat.
I don't think they're worried about...
Hey, there'll be farmers in that crowd. They
They're
know what I'm talking
professional
about.
by now. They've been doing it a while, you know what I mean?
There'll be farmers, there'll be butchers, there'll be bakers, there'll be candlestick makers, there'll be all sorts of people in this crowd.
making candles out of the earwax of the dead.
There you go. Oh, that's grim. It's all grim. What am I on about? This should be a Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Surprised it's not. Maybe we'll save it for Christmas. Happy Christmas, everyone! Just in case. If not, oh well.
I tell you what, we'll re-release it over Christmas. The disaster on Cannibal Island was so horrifying that a local communist instructor named Vasily Vachenko set out on his own to investigate in July 1933. It's only been there from May, June, July, 3 fucking months. Already thousands of people are dead and eating each other.
Doesn't take a lot to see people starving.
No.
They were only 3 missed meals a day from anarchy. 3 missed meals from anarchy, or is it 5 missed meals from anarchy? One of the two. He interviewed dozens of people and wrote an 11-page report. Is that it? 11 pages. That he sent to Moscow.
What? 1 page of them, they're eating each other.
Yeah,
That's all you need, isn't it?
That's all you need, yeah. He sent it to Moscow, Novosibirsk, and the district centre Narim. His report was stamped, quote, top secret, but not by top men in this scenario,
Not top, man.
and only came to light in 1994.
Fucking hell.
To quote him, people began dying. They burned to death alive while sleeping close to their fires. They died from exhaustion and cold. Imagine being so exhausted you just sort of roll a bit close to the fire by accident and you haven't got the strength to pull yourself out.
Well, sure, someone had just jumped on you and started eating you.
He's cooking himself! Fucking brilliant!
I'd imagine they'd eat you after. Don't let him get too charred.
Yeah. Just wait till he's died, then put him out. He'd be lovely, like medium rare. Beautiful.
Oh, that's grim. Immediately after the snow and frost came the rains and freezing winds.
Fuck's sake.
And the people were laughing. Just
And we're,
sympathy over here.
we're talking about July as well, you know what I mean? Summer months.
Yeah, because we're not past July. It's been
They're-
Siberian summer, this
Because
is.
they're on this side of the hemisphere,
Oh,
aren't they?
yeah,
So
no,
they're not
yeah.
reversed like the Australian upside downers and that, are they?
No, this is the good weather.
Yeah.
The freezing
So
winds.
this is their nice weather, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Fucking
rains
hell.
and freezing winds are better than the snow and frost, apparently.
Yeah, because it'll get down to like -10, -15.
Oh yeah, that's practically shorts there, isn't it?
Yeah.
The people were still left without food. Every 4th or 5th day, some rye flour was brought to the island and distributed to the settlers. A few 100 grams each. After getting the ration, the people ran into the water and mixed it with the flour in their hats and ate it. Many people just ate the flour as it was, and since it was a powder, many suffocated from breathing it in.
Yeah, you're not making bread, are you, on the island?
Fuck's sake. Well, surely you'd see one person breathe it in and then just go, oh, don't that's fucking
Yeah,
good
but
idea, is it?
There's no one there that long enough to teach these lessons to anyone. It's the,
shit.
you do that. So Pete does that on Monday. You rock up on Monday afternoon. Don't see him do that and do it Tuesday. No one's there to pass this on. People aren't living long enough to pass knowledge on at this point. Or you're just that fucking desperate. You're just that hungry. You're just like,
Yeah.
screw it.
Stick your face in it.
Yeah. And Nazino Island was finally evacuated in July 1933. My God. When Valencio reached it in August, all the, quote, settlers were gone. To quote him, the grass on the island was head high. But locals who went there to gather berries returned after discovering corpses in the grass and stick shelters full of skeletons.
3 months. That's it.
Are you sure that it started in May 1933?
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem.
There you go.
Yeah,
It
mate.
just doesn't seem right though, does it? You know what I mean? It's like,
Mate, it's
All of that
Siberian
has
winter
happened.
and you've got no food.
but all of that has happened within 3. It sounds so much to have happened with such a short period of time.
You're on a
There's
tiny
6,000
island.
people. That's quite a lot.
I know.
On a
it's-
tiny island. Siberian winter. You've got no food.
Well, actually, it's Siberian summer, but
Yeah.
it's like our winter.
Yeah. You've got no food. You've got no shelter. You basically dumped you here to build a community and to get farming. And the longer it takes you to do that, the longer you're without food. It's like an incentive. Get cracking.
Yeah, but if there's no trees, they can't build shelter, and it's just
They don't care about that.
a bit of an impossible task. I think they've given.
Bit mental, innit?
Yeah.
Of course, it's mental.
Like, if they'd have given them basic supplies to start with,
This is,
fucking...
this is Stalin's Soviet
I know,
Union. There's
but
no common sense in it.
But, like, why didn't they think, well, we need to at least give them seeds and things like that to start off? It's just...
Once they probably cut down the trees or cut down the grass, they might get some seeds at that point.
For what,
Who
more
knows?
grass? You don't want to eat that, are you?
Well, for whatever's fucking they're gonna grow. Potatoes, I assume.
It's just...
Grain.
It was just I know it was a ridiculous concept, but it was a ridiculous concept. How
Well,
anybody that was supposed to have been even slightly fucking educated, surely knows, oh, let's go... It's like sticking somebody on not just a desert island, but I mean literally a desert island in the middle of nowhere that was just literally just a mound of fucking sand, sticking on there and going, right, you got no supplies, live for a year.
Crack on.
You're not gonna! You're dead within a few days.
And how many
It's just as fucking shit as that.
prisoners or settlers were farmers? I mean, what was it? One kid was...
So they
He's a
knew what to do.
student and-
You know what I mean? They knew what to do as well, and they still couldn't fucking do it, and it just ended up with them just eating each other and fucking... That was basically their means of survival, I'm assuming. The only food they actually had was when somebody carved it.
They thought, fuck this.
Well, let's eat them calves. They look nice and juicy. She used to be a runner. I'm not eating them. They'll be tough as fuck. Give me a boob though, if she's got any. Most women runners don't have big boobs. It's just an observation.
But then you go there like only a month or so, and there's fucking skeletons piled up in wooden shacks.
Fucked up, that is, isn't it?
Nightmare, innit?
Fucked up.
You know,
that.
you open the door and there's just like 10 skeletons just laying there, all died from starvation. That's going to put a crimp on
I
the
should
kids'
have-
berry picking day, innit?
I should imagine they've gone. They've died somewhere else, and then they've been put in the shack, haven't they?
Well, they've just been in there huddling for shelter together and just individually died.
Oh.
Or a particularly cold night that just wiped them all out or something.
Oh. Imagine the smell anyway. Nasty.
Oh, the smell. But them berries were juicy though.
See, I don't know why they didn't just like punch the trees, get some wood, then like just go and pick loads of berries and plant them, and you'd have loads of trees, and then you'd punch them trees, have more wood. Before you know it, you got a big mansion, just like on Minecraft and things like that. You know, simples.
As soon as the camp was abandoned, the locals went there and started collecting gold teeth.
Yeah. Verchenko's report caused a sensation in Moscow. The Communist Party sent a special commission to Nazino to investigate, and the facts of the report were largely confirmed. Several officials of the former camp were reprimanded, you naughty boys, and sentenced to prison terms ranging from 1 to 3 years. Verchenko's report was labelled secret and tucked away
Do you
in the
reckon
archives.
Do you reckon they were sent to gulags?
Possibly.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Bit of justice.
Verchenko, however, got fired from his party job because you've just sort of exposed the incompetence of our beloved leader. He's quite lucky, actually. He only got fired. He later became a journalist and gained some fame as a war correspondent during World War II. He travelled with the Red Army all the way to Berlin. After the war, he wrote several novels singing the praises of the transformation of Siberia under the Soviet government. He never wrote anything else about Cannibal Island.
I'm guessing he was silenced in some way.
I'm guessing he was probably quite a staunch communist at that point, because...
How can you praise it? Oh my god. Unbelievable after what you just seen.
Well, because he was made to praise it.
Yeah. Then you also no one... It's more of a case of, don't mention that, and we won't kill you.
But mention that in a real positive
Yeah.
way, and we won't kill you.
Yeah. You're a famous war correspondent. Write a piece on how Siberia, and you're from Siberia. Write a piece on how awesome it is nowadays.
Is that a picture from the camp, is it? Assumingly.
Yeah, a group of settlers. Yeah.
They're even wearing fucking striped pyjamas.
Yeah. Probably because he was snatched out of his... I think that might be actually a suit. He's got a tie on.
Yeah.
It looks like striped pyjamas.
Yeah.
Probably
They're
because he's so skinny the way it's hanging off him.
They just saw in the clothes they were pretty much taking in, aren't they? It's...
Oh, it's such a shame.
Horrific, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh God, it's terrible. Just goes to show what happened when you let a chap in who's a complete maniac and let him have total control.
And next week's episode is going to be Nazi training training camps.
The Holocaust. We're covering the Holocaust. No, we're not. Definitely not.
I said training camp, Nazi training camp.
You didn't say holiday camp.
But isn't that how they tried to sell it as that though, didn't they?
The Holocaust deniers will tell you that they were holiday camps nowadays. Yeah.
But some people went to these camps voluntarily, didn't they? Because they were sold it.
I don't think so.
I believe some
never
were.
done that.
I'm sure.
Maybe at the very,
sure
very
I did.
start, like, hey, come and relocate to this area. But
Because it was.
I
I'm
don't know
sure
about that.
I heard
I've
something
never
like
heard
that somewhere.
it's usually going to have been taken by force.
I might have dreamt it, but it's something in my head's telling me I've heard that somewhere. That they were like people were coaxed into it basically.
Maybe at the very, very start. Come and
And then-
settle this new land.
And then when there was resistance, they were like, this isn't working.
you can't
Why aren't we
leave them
hearing
free.
back off these people?
Yeah.
They said they'd write to us. Why has all their property been seized?
It's horrific, isn't it? The cruelty that people can do to other people.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I'm on about the guards here, just letting them rot on this island
Yeah.
without any food.
chucking little fucking crumbs of bread
Yeah.
at them just to tease them almost.
Yeah.
Just distributing flour, that's it. And rye, I mean,
Yeah.
shocking.
Yeah, it's pure sadism, isn't it? It's absolute sadism. And but in
These
these...
people have done nothing wrong, most of them.
Nobody's been rounded up.
Just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But in these situations, the sociopaths and the psychopaths always rise to the top, don't they?
Yeah, it's them with money in it
That's it.
as well.
Power corrupts, doesn't it?
And absolute power corrupts absolutely. Unless you're me.
Good job you haven't got absolute power then.
Not yet.
And on that bombshell.
Just
Yeah.
some fucked up facts.
If you
I
want to.
reckon so, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I have the theme tune then, please?
Facts, fucked up facts,
facts.
facts.
Fucked up facts!
Right then, Mike, here's with some knowledge.
In ancient Rome, when the citizens became unhappy with their city's governance, they would all simply leave.
Just leave the city.
Yeah. Since the politicians required citizens to keep the city running, they were forced to give in to the demands. According to historians, this happened at least 5 times.
Voting with your feet.
Yeah, I love that.
I quite like that.
Yeah. Everyone, we're having a picnic outside the city walls today. It's a strike, isn't it? Basically.
Mass
Yeah, just
citizen
pick up
strike.
and leave. And
Yeah. The Romans weren't as, well, I suppose they were a democracy at one point, weren't they?
In everything, hadn't
Yeah,
they?
they've dabbled in a bit of everything.
The fastest memorisers in the world can memorise the order of a deck of 52 cards in how quick do you think?
Oh, a couple of seconds. As fast as I can see the cards, as fast as you can flip the cards.
Less than 15
Oh.
seconds.
Wow.
So you
Never.
just literally like flick
Yeah.
through it like
Christ, I can't remember what I did yesterday.
that. I don't know. I don't see that as being that difficult. You could
Really?
probably learn
You
that.
can train yourself
You
to
could
do
probably
it.
learn that quite quick to get quite quick at it. Maybe
You've
not
got to
quite
train your
50,
brain, I imagine, to
But you know what I mean? You look at a deck of cards, you've only got 4 kind of cards to remember, and then it's just remembering in the order they're but then remembering.
Eight, that's
Oh,
right
no.
card.
It's
get
rock
15
hard.
seconds, 52 cards.
No, like I said,
Darren
15
Brown.
seconds,
Yeah.
but I reckon I could do that.
Well, let me put this way to you.
I couldn't do
A
it
bit
in
of
15
time.
days.
I couldn't do that in 15 minutes. Darren Brown, I watched the Darren Brown show, the famous magician. Well, he's not a magician, is he? What is he?
The one that can't spell his own
A
name.
mentalist. That's it.
The one that can't spell his own name. Darren Brown. What kind of name's Darren?
Because it's better than being called Darren. No one likes a Darren. Apologies to any Darrens out there. That's why everyone calls you Daz. Basically, no one likes a Darren. That's
We've
what we call
just
your
lost
dad.
4 listeners.
Don't care. Yeah, where was I? He trained himself to memorise the London A to Z book that taxi drivers use. The A to Z of every street listing in London. And he did it in 3 months. It took him. He'd spend hours a day doing it. And at that point, though, he could he'd so call it Euston Way in London, and he'd go page 52.
Ooh, that's good.
You know, he memorised it to that detail. Took him 3.5 months, something like that. So no offence, Pete. He's a trained mentalist. No offence. You partake in Mary Jane. You haven't done any brain training for quite a while. I think it's going to be a similar amount of time for you to be able to do it in under 15 seconds.
No, I'm not saying anywhere near 15 seconds. What I'm saying is, memorising a deck of cards, I don't think is that difficult because there's only 4. It's just.
We'll try it later. I've got a deck of cards.
Send you over. Give you some homework. See
I
how long it
got
takes.
better things to do in my time than try to memorise a fucking deck of cards. But what I'm saying is, if it was something a bit more impressive,
If
than
you
a deck
win, I'll
of
buy you a
cards-
present. If you do it in under 15 seconds, I'll buy you a present.
Bloody hell, I'd do it because it's an offer. I
I'd
won't come along again.
never get anywhere near 15
I'll tell you what.
let alone 15
Yeah, I'll
seconds.
tell you what. I want. You memorise a deck of cards. You got 2 minutes.
Right then.
I'll buy you a present.
Yeah, okay. But no, I just think that's what I'm saying is there's only 1 to fucking 13 basically in a roundabout way, and then there's 4 variations of that. And I don't think that would be as hard as there could be so many more harder things to memorise in a quick time. And I think a deck of cards is a bit okay.
You know what?
It's impressive, but it could be better. That was my point.
15 seconds isn't bad.
Well, it's not bad, is it? I suppose, but
I was thinking more like 5, admittedly.
I was thinking lower, so that's why I think I was a little bit
There's 52 things, isn't it?
unimpressed.
52 things in order.
Yeah. No,
I
it
can
is
barely do a
it is
shopping list.
It is impressive, but yeah. I think there could be harder things to memorise.
Alright, Mike, what you got next?
Did you know the word tyre comes from attire?
The tyre, the car tyre, or tyre spelled with O?
tyre of a car.
Well, attire, interesting. Okay.
The wheel protection was seen as clothing the carriage.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, putting a jacket round the wheel to, protect it.
Yeah.
Is that where them beautiful white rimmed tyres come in? Well, they had in the 30s in America and the suicide doors and the...
To make it look pretty.
Yeah.
To make it look like a tuxedo.
Yes.
Oh, put on my formal tyres, dear.
Yeah. Yeah. They're here in the town tonight. Put on the swanky ones.
Jeffrey, the formal wear.
Put on the white walls.
Apparently, octopuses have nightmares.
How the fuck would they know that? How
Yeah.
would they know that?
Hey, should we cure cancer or see if octopuses have nightmares? Get your fucking priorities straight, science. How much money was pumped into that?
I just think it's ridiculous. Yes, you could maybe say they dream, but say they have fucking nightmares. Or did you ask the octopus? Was that a nice dream or a nasty dream? It's fucking
Would there be a way of you'd watch them sleep, and if they decide to thrash about a bit, you assume they're having a nightmare?
But that would only be assumption then, wouldn't
Of
it?
course, yeah. Unless you got them with things on their brains,
I was thinking electrodes on the side of their head.
but then they're underwater.
And then they're not naturally. If you've got some wild animal that's got fucking things attached to its head, it's probably not going to be in its most comfortable environment in itself anyway. So, I'd call.
I think science needs to get its fucking priorities in order.
Yeah.
Cure cancer, get us to Mars, and sort out the climate change.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what I'm putting all our resources into.
Well, it is fucked up facts, not awesome
Common
facts.
sense facts.
According to physics, your tea will stay hotter if you add the milk as soon as possible after making it, rather than waiting.
Well, obvious. What? Oh.
As a tea drinker, I cannot participate in this competition. I'm not a tea drinker.
So what? So put the water in.
Yep, make your cup of tea and add the milk instantly.
Yeah.
Do you pour it in at the same time as the water?
Well, you just put the water in, put the milk in, give it a stir, and then you know exactly when it's ready because you see the right colour you want as well.
That's what I do.
But-
Yeah. Some people don't add the milk until after.
So how long though? Like if they
Well,
wait
the longer
5
you
minutes,
wait-
obviously it's going to be colder because
Colder,
you're
yeah.
adding cold milk to even colder fucking water.
There you go.
So that's just logic. There's no fucking who needs again physicists fucking start teaming up with the chemists and start fucking curing cancer. You fucking layabout twats. Get a real profession.
Sort out the wormhole theory and find out if this is a multiverse. I want to find
Yeah.
out if there's a King
Who
Ben.
gives a fuck? Obviously, tea's going to be colder if you wait longer for the fucking water to cool down. Jesus! Stop wasting our time, physicists.
Well, that bombshell. Physicists, sort your lives out. You're inventing nuclear weapons.
Yes.
Now you're sorting out tea.
You need to worry about the fucking impending doom from the alien attack
Yeah.
we're going to have.
Yeah. Sort out a railgun, damn it.
Yeah, start sorting out laser pistols for everyone.
Shields as well.
Shields would be good. Laser,
Like proper, like,
force fields, like,
yeah, force field
Yeah.
shields.
and over cities. That'd be handy.
That was the sound effect of my force field, like, deploying, by the way.
Was it? All right.
Yeah.
I don't want one over the city, over the town or the city.
Oh, what if the aliens attack?
It's a bit like the dome.
You'll be glad of it when the aliens attack and your house doesn't get blown up.
Oh, we'll be alright anyway, we've got the dome already, so we'll be sound.
That's why the aliens can't attack.
Yeah, yeah. They've been trying for
Can't get
years,
to the
mate.
dome, keep bouncing off.
Every time we have a thunderstorm, it's not really thunder. They're like, ah,
You
shit,
know what?
press the thunder and lightning button, we're getting attacked again.
Start a conspiracy theory saying
That would probably
thunder
take
and
on.
lightning isn't thunder and lightning, it's just UFOs bouncing off the dome when they're trying to attack us.
The firmament.
Alright, we'll end with this fact. In 2021, 1-year-old Luca Yupanqui released an album she recorded from within the womb.
Oh my god.
Okay.
She recorded.
It says,
So she was like, Mum, I know I'm not out yet, but I'm going to play you some bitchin' tunes. I don't understand this, like,
Did her mum just record her womb?
her womb noises.
As the
I'm
baby
guessing,
grew.
and she released it as an album. It must be the only
It's gotta be-
logical explanation.
I don't think she was like spinning dirty beats
I know,
inside her
innit?
mum.
Rapping
Tapping
about
on the ribs. Like.
rapping about bitches and hoes.
I mean, she never said a bitch or a hoe at that point. And where'd she get the vinyl from? To spin? Yeah. I don't know, what the hell. I've lost myself. That's crazy. Thanks for listening. I've been Ben. Don't do the favour, and don't join the cult.
I've been Mike, thanks for listening. Peace out, may the force be with you.
I've been Clair. Keep an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears.
And I'm still Pete. Enjoy your week, guys. Take care.